I'm going to become the world's first Kaze master, and I'm doing this for one simple reason. If I'm successful, I'll go down in the history books as the first person to ever master an ultra legendary brawler. But this is no easy challenge. And so I unlocked Kaze and got to winning games as fast as humanly possible. And that's because this first hour of pushing is one of the most important parts about this challenge. New brawlers are released 1 hour before the mastery cap resets, which means if I get 800 plus mastery within the hour, I can cut off an entire day of this push, since the mastery cap is 6,000 a day. But the first 800 mastery wasn't as easy as normal, since Wasabi powers were still in the game. This was something I completely forgot to plan for. Our team comp had 0 Wasabi powers, which means we're put at a huge disadvantage, and we still need to win the games as fast as possible. Not to mention, I was still trying to learn how to even play Kaze. Luckily though, I had help from 2 amazing players, Juan and Sunny. And with their help, we were able to go on a pretty big win streak right off the bat. But as we were climbing in trophies, the game started to get harder and harder to win quickly. And then soon enough, we had our first really tough game versus another Kaze.
Oh, also look like he's racing? No. I messed up. I didn't even get a single hit in. I'm not gonna get mastery. Uh-oh. He's going in this weird mode. Is it better? No, we lost. Oh no, that's huge. That's a huge loss.
Now that loss is a big deal because we lose our win streak and we no longer gain trophies as fast as we can. And the more trophies you have, the more mastery points you gain. But little did I know, this was actually much bigger of a deal than I thought. Because that exact Kaze player, 17 Doubloons, was racing me for the first mastery, and he would actually be my biggest competition later in the video. But obviously we didn't know that at the time and did not give up whatsoever. If anything, it fueled us to get wins even quicker. And so we kept winning, climbing mastery points, but the games were still not easy because of the Wasabi powers. Games were actually taking forever compared to normal, and I started to finally get a little bit worried. We tried switching to knockout for hopefully having faster games and without the Wasabi powers, however that ended up actually being even slower. So all we could do was take our time and win games consistently. And after a bunch of intense games and the hour was finally up, we gained a total of 1,395 mastery points, which is good because we can cut 1 day off of this entire challenge. But taking a look at the leaderboards, I was actually still way behind first and second place. And not to mention the player that beat us earlier was ahead of us as well in mastery points despite not being on the leaderboards. This is not looking too great, but the last day is still the most important day, and if we have a good last day, we can come back and win this race. But until that day, I have a few goals that I need to complete to make sure that I am ready to race. The first goal is to learn everything I can about Kaze. I need to play the best that I can if we want a chance to win. And my first hour of pushing was definitely not too hot. The second goal is obvious, but I need to hit the 6,000 mastery cap every single day. And finally, the third goal is to get 2,000 trophies on Kaze. And with all those goals in mind, I hop straight into 5v5 to hopefully make some really cool plays.
It's a tricky brawler to play, chat. Nice. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, but I mean, this could be a crazy comeback. No, I couldn't get out. We're about to go crazy, chat. No! They had infinite. They were invulnerable. Not bad. Triple kill? We were losing. Holy. Well, that worked. Nice.
And after a bunch of games later, not only did we hit 1,000 trophies, I finally started to get the hang of Kaze. I learned that Kaze is not the most broken brawler on release. You kind of actually have to play really smart in order to make Kaze really strong. For example, Kaze's geisha form is actually kind of weak versus most brawlers, except for throwers and brawlers with low DPS. So I only really use it for movement speed. And Kaze's ninja form is actually pretty good versus tanks and mid-range brawlers. Now as for Kaze's super, the ninja form super is almost always better. It gives you a lot of mobility, plus you can close the gap on targets and delete them within just seconds. However, there is some use for the super in geisha form, and that is if you can hit multiple enemies and trap them, or if you can put it on a very nice choke point, it can sometimes be viable. As for the gadget, I tried both a tremendous amount, and I actually prefer the gracious host gadget. This gives me a little bit more movement speed once I switch forms, and it also gives me a little bit of healing. And for star powers, I used gratuity included, which gives me increased gadget effects by 50%, so I get more movement speed for longer, which is really helpful. And so with all my new knowledge, I finished up grinding mastery for the day and capped out. And well, the next couple days were also pretty straightforward. We've been down this road before and we know what we have to do. So I continued to play different modes, limit test my abilities, but most importantly, kept climbing trophies and mastery points. I hit the mastery cap every day and played enough to confidently say I was finally ready for the final day. The only goal that I had not completed yet was 2,000 trophy Kaze, and I was pretty confident we might actually be able to get it on the final day, if we don't lose. The final day is here, and this is the most important part about this entire challenge. I knew that once that Brawl Ball map changes, it means the mastery cap resets and it is finally go time. There is no more training, there is no more practicing, the race has begun. Now, as we went to winning games as fast as possible, I did do a little bit of research behind the scenes, and come to find out there was multiple people racing for this mastery, and I was currently in second place. I was about 1 to 2 games behind the player that beat us on the first day, 17 doubloons. Not to mention there was multiple people on my tail, only 1 to 2 games behind. And so we went as fast as possible, and immediately we ran into our first problem. The first game we won didn't actually give us mastery points, and for some reason it thought that I still had hit the mastery cap, which might not sound like a huge problem, but with how close this race really is, every mastery point really does count. And so at this point, I was more nervous than ever. And sure enough, a few games later, we faced the guy in first place. 17 doubloons. This game is a must win if we want to get first in this challenge.
Come on, please. Nice. Nice! This might be them.
Time for my beauty sleep.
Shoot. Nice. Alright, look. If it's them, it's a win. I don't care. My goodness, if it's them, I don't care. It's them. It was them. Nice.
And after that intense game, I finally felt a little bit relieved. We still had some work to do, but that's step 1 in catching up. But we didn't have time to take a break whatsoever because soon enough, we were facing some really strong players game after game, and somehow we actually managed to win them. But this is mostly thanks to my 2 awesome teammates, Juan and Sunny, and honestly this challenge would not be possible without them, so give them a huge thanks in the comments down below and check out their socials in the description. But even though we were winning those games, sometimes they were taking up to 2 to 3 minutes to win, which means it's definitely slow. And come to find out, after checking a website that checks mastery points, we were actually falling farther and farther behind. At this point, I was extremely worried, but we all knew what we had to do, and that was to lock in and win games way faster. And after a huge win streak, we finally lost our first game. I just had to hope that this one loss wouldn't cost us this entire challenge. But we kept pushing forward, winning games at rapid speeds and getting closer and closer to mastering Kaze. And so after a bunch of games and we were 1k mastery away, we checked the standings again. And sure enough, we had finally closed the gap. It was now completely tied in mastery, and with about 10 games left to play, tried my best to stay focused and win games as fast as possible.
Your story ends here.
And well, we were winning games in sometimes less than 30 seconds, almost not even possible to go any faster. And soon enough, we were eventually one game away from mastering Kaze.
One more. Come on, matchmaking. Come on. Here we go. It's a good matchup, too. We got a tick on their team. One more. 10-second goal. That's perfect. Please, unlock it.
And just like that, we unlocked the ninja title, and as we waited for confirmation of who actually won the race, I quickly finished off a couple more trophies to get 2,000 trophy Kaze and finish gold number 3. And really quick, huge thanks to everyone that helped in this video. It would not be possible without you, so thank you guys. And so we messaged Danny, the community manager at Brawl Stars, and he sent us this. We are the first person in the world to master Kaze, and we only won by 53 seconds. This was the closest race I've ever done, so GG's to 17 doubloons. You were amazing. This was intense. If you guys want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll do more of these videos in the future. But either way, peace.